Hello everybody, we are back with more Neverhood 1, and we're still in the Hall of Records. Excuse me. We are still in the Hall of Records reading, and we are ready to go to the next screen. And the jailer put Klee in charge of the Emperor's former nephew, and he took care of him, and he was in confinement for some time. Then the Emperor's ex-nephew, who was confined in jail, had a terrible time sleeping one night. He tossed and turned all night long. When Klee came to him in the morning and observed him, behold, he was downhearted. And he asked the former emperor's nephew, who was with him in confinement in jail, "Why is your face so sad today?" Then the former nephew said to him, "Are you blind? Just look at my hair. I've got bedhead, and there's no one to interpret it." Okay. He said this because in the kingdom of Fep, bedhead interpretations are used to foretell the future. Holy shit, dude. Then Key said to him, "Do not interpretations belong to quarter. Let me study your bedhead, please." Then Klee said to him, "This is the interpretation of your bedhead. This afternoon the Emperor will restore you to the position of Emperor's nephew and have you released from jail. Now please do me one kindness by mentioning me to the Emperor and get me out of this jail, for I was in fact kidnapped from the land of Fa'a. And even here I have done nothing that they should have put me into jail." That afternoon the Emperor declared that his nephew, who was in jail, should be released and be restored to the position of Emperor's nephew. When the Emperor was asked what should be done with the guy to whom he, the Emperor, had given the nephew status, the Emperor said to throw him in jail instead. The Emperor's nephew did not remember Klee. In fact, he forgot him, but Quarter did not forget Klee. Now it happened at the end of 2 full years that the Emperor woke up one morning with bedhead, and his spirit was troubled, so he sent and called for all the interpreters. And the Emperor had them study his bedhead, but there was no one who could interpret to the Emperor. Then the Emperor's nephew spoke up, saying, "I would make mention today of my own offenses. The Emperor was furious with me, and he put me in the confinement in jail. And I woke up one morning with bedhead. Now a Fa'a youth was with me there, a servant of the jailer, and he studied my bedhead, and he did interpret it for me. And it came about that just as he interpreted for me, so it happened. It was restored to my status as Emperor's nephew. I was restored. Then the Emperor sent me and called for Klee, and they hurriedly brought him out of the jail. And when he had shaved himself from head to toe, that is how one was presented to the Emperor in those days, and changed his clothes, he came to the Emperor, and the Emperor said to Klee, "I presume that you can see I have bedhead, and no one here can interpret it, but I have heard it said about you that you study a bedhead, you can interpret it." Klee then answered the Emperor, saying, "It is not in me interpretations of bedhead belong to Quarter." The Emperor said to Klee, "Behold, this study my bedhead." Now Klee said to the Emperor, "A terrible drought is coming." This is like a troll. It's like a troll before trolls in video games. It is going to cause skyrocketing inflation and a shortage of fall jerkins and Fep jerkins. Throw the land into a panic, raise prices, and drop interest rates, but not before there is a huge surplus of Fep jerkins. By the way, I mentioned when I started reading this Hall of Records that I do have a transcription of this. If you are interested at all in reading it, it is in the first gameplay video and the second gameplay video, because the second gameplay video is when I started reading in the Hall of Records here. And it takes you to my Google Drive to a text document where it shows you exactly what I'm reading right now. It's roughly, I think this is all roughly 147,000 characters of text. I don't think it's words, I think it's characters. And it's roughly like 35 to 40 screens worth in this game of text. So yeah, there's a lot here. Okay. So yeah, if you want to read that transcription, you can if you would like to. Now let the emperor look for a man discerning and wise and set him over the land of Fep. Let the emperor take action to appoint overseers in charge of the land, and let him exact a fifth of the Fep jerkins of the land of Fep in time of surplus. Then let him gather all the Fep jerkins of this land surplus and store them up, and let them guard it, and let the surplus become as a reserve for the land during the drought, which will. It should be like its own game, or its own story. It is a story, but this could be like its own frickin' game based on all of this that we're reading. Occur in the lands of Fa, Ah, and Fep, so that the land may not perish during skyrocketing inflation. The emperor said, "Wow, all that was in my bedhead." Then he said to his servants, "Can you believe a man like this guy, Klee?" So the emperor said to Klee, "Since you've got all the answers, you shall be over my house, and according to your command, all my people shall do homage. Only in the throne I will be greater than you. See, I have set you over all the land of Fep." Then the emperor took off his shorts. Next screen, he had undershorts on underneath, thank God, for crying out loud, and put them on Klee. And he had him ride on his second vehicle, not in, but on his second vehicle, and the servants proclaimed before him, "Bow the knee," and set him over all the land of Fep. I'm going to take a sip of drink. Moreover, the emperor said to Klee, "Though I am the emperor, yet without your permission, no one shall raise his hand or foot or left eyebrow in all the land of Fep." And he gave him Gael, the daughter of a guy he beat in a game of wagon hurling the previous day. Wagon hurling. Thus Klee became prime minister of the neighboring kingdom of Fep. Making his way up in the world, huh? Or the land, I should say. After the period of surplus in Fep, Fei's land dried up and the Fa herders wandered away, and a shortage of Fa jerkins threw the land of Fa into a panic, raising prices and dropping interest rates. These videos are like Neverhood ASMR lore. It's just me talking. Like I could redo all this and do a version of me just like whispering, with like ocean water lapping in the background, I'm sure it would probably be the most viewed video on my channel if I were to do that. The Fey boys, Cluff, Claw, Clement, Cleft, Clack, Clink, and 5 sons, all of whom Fey named Kloppen, Hammen, Winterwitz, because Fey could not think of another name until the birth of his last son, which we learned this previously in a previous video. Klee were forced to trek out to Fep and trade their prized choppin' metal statues for Fleppenjerkers. Dreading the odious Fep aftertaste. Okay. I don't think we've quite got into fapping yet, but I think that's we're getting close to that. Maybe fapping actually came from this game. The Fa hated Fep jerkins. To them, they are dirty. The Fa are so conditioned to despise Fep jerkins that just thinking of the Fep aftertaste causes a physical reaction. I bet it does. Simply seeing a Fep jerkin has been known to cause a fa'a to go pale and become woozy. The odor of Fep jerkin sets off the gag reflex. I'm sure it does. See, we're getting there. We're going to get there. It is common to hear a fa gentleman say, "I'd rather eat the refuse of my worst enemy than eat Fep jerkins." To which another might respond, "Oh yeah? I'd rather poke myself in the eyes with 6-inch rusty spikes than eat a lousy Fep jerkin." To which another might reply, "Well, I'd rather eat my own head innards after they'd been sucked out through my eye sockets by a great naturally occurring vacuum than eat Fep jerkins." Still another might say, "I'd rather have a full body massage from a servant girl named Hella than eat Fep jerkins." To which everyone would respond, "Huh?" And a fa'a wants to insult another fa'a. A popular saying is, "Your mother eats Fep jerkins." It is considered very naughty behavior for fa'a youngsters to even talk about Fep jerkins. The controversial fa'a comedian Ludi Kincaid once performed an entire live routine of nothing but Fep jerkin jokes. Of course, it was an adults-only performance and was banned in most towns. All the people of fa'a, including Faye and his sons, realized they would have to choke down the Fep jerkins and most likely vomit a few times after eating the first 3 or 4, or face certain starvation. Now Clee was the ruler over the land. He was the one who sold to all the people of the land. And Clee's brothers came and bowed down to him and with their faces to the ground. When Clee saw his brothers, he recognized them, but he disguised himself to them and spoke to them with cotton in his cheeks. His brothers ordered 12.5 cases of Fep jerkins. Then Clee gave orders to fill the cases with shorts of great value. Shorts of great value. And thus it was done for them. So the brothers loaded their fall oxen with the 12.5 cases departed from there. At the border, Clee had his police stop his brothers. The head policeman said, "May I see your receipt, please?" Claw, the eldest, handed over the receipt to the officer. It says here you bought 12.5 cases of Fep jerkins. Mind if we take a look inside these here cases? Claw agreed to let the police search the cases. When these were opened, the police, of course, found the priceless shorts. The brothers were stunned, to say the least. Their hearts sank, and they turned trembling to one another, saying, "What's up with that?" So the police escorted the sons of Faye back to Clee's house. The brothers thought they were done for. But when Clee saw them, he invited them in and fed them delicious snacks prepared with Fep jerkins, of course. While they were eating, after having thrown up at least twice each, Clee had their cases of Fep jerkins filled with the finest Fep shoelaces, such as only the Emperor's family would wear. After dinner, Clee released his brothers, who still did not recognize him, to go on their way home. At the border, Clee had his police stop his brothers. The head policeman said, "May I see your receipt, please?" Claw, the eldest, handed over the receipt to the officer. It says here you bought 12.5 cases of Fep jerkins. Mind if we take a look inside these here cases? Claw agreed to let the police search the cases. When these were opened, the police, of course, found the precious shoelaces. The brothers were stunned, to say the least. Their hearts sank, and they turned trembling to one another, saying, "What is up with that?" So the police escorted the sons of Faye back to Clee's house. The brothers thought they were done for. But when Clee saw them, he invited them in and had them join him in the pool. While they were in the sauna after swimming, he had their cases of Fep jerkins filled with priceless gauges. Okay. After they had all dried off, Klee released his brothers, who still did not recognize him, to go on their way home. At the border, Klee had his police stop his brothers. The head police said, "May I see your receipt, please?" Claw, the eldest, handed over the receipt to the officer. "Says here you bought 12.5 cases of Fep Jerkins. Mind if we take a look inside these here cases?" Claw agreed to let the police search the cases. When these were opened, the police, of course, found the precious gauges. The brothers were stunned, to say the least. Their hearts sank, and they turned trembling to one another, saying, "What is up with that?" So police escorted the sons of Fae back to Klee's house. The brothers thought they were done for, but when Klee saw them, he had them come down and watch a play performed in mime in his private home theater. Then he had them spend the night. While they were sleeping, he had their cases of Fep Jerkins filled with humenol tenterfetch, which is a lot like a food. In the morning after breakfast, Klee released his brothers, who still did not recognize him, to go on their way home. But Claw, the smartest brother, said, "Before we go, I'd like to look in these cases of Fep Jerkins." When he opened one up, of course he found the fatch, we'll call it. He exclaimed, "What is up with that?" Klee knew he had to let his brothers in on his little deception. Klee said, "I'm Klee." And the brothers responded, "Who?" Then Klee took the cotton balls out of his cheeks and told them the whole story. He said, "It goes like this. When I came out to the plains of Chopin to check on you, you grabbed me and sewed me and my fine shorts to the back of a fall bull. When you traded me and the fall bull to some Chopin pops for some stewed pods." Klee's brothers went back to Fa'ah and returned to Fep with their father, Faye, who had lived there for only a few years until Quarter eventually smote him with a bolt of energy. And all the Faye families lived in Fep 410 years. Klee, having become ruler of all the land of Fep, was compelled by his people to change his name to Faye Ni, which means most of which still do not agree. Faye Ni begot Faye Ni, who begot Wayne, who begot Anchor, who looked nothing like his father, Wayne, but nonetheless managed to create Ep. We're definitely not meeting all of these characters in the game, but we do meet some of them, generally like the first few mentioned. Excuse me. Like many generations before him, Anchor sang to Ep every night over his crib using the flaps in his back. In the tradition of Fae, Anchor showed all the love a good parent would show his offspring. He often stared into Ep's face for hours until his eyes grew dry and tired. Ep was full of kindness and generosity, taught by Anchor, and likely nurtured by his grandfather, Wani. One day, while Ep and his grandfather were on a long trip to the boneyard, Wani grew ill. Wani asked Ep to stay with him until he returned home to father, for he was afraid. Ep daubed Wani's brow with a cool cloth given to him by Anchor. Quarter opened the sky and let Wani enter. This was the first time Ep had seen Quarter, who was far more marvelous than the legends told. Ep grew to be a strong and handsome being, much closer in the likeness to Bert than any generation before. Ep became a mighty leader of other beings who saw that he was in favor with Quarter. I already read that. Just as everybody thought that the whole each generation gets worse thing had finally turned around, Ep's own creation came out looking like a pile of something badly burned. So he named it was alive, so it could not begot anything. was not alive. Okay, so it's like an undead. No, you didn't. Just like a Freddy Krueger. He's all burned up. That's all we're going to get here unless there's some extra special crap down here. There isn't. Okay. Okay, so we got our little guy here. So this could be quarter, maybe. Maybe this is quarter. I'm not entirely sure. This gets all kind of confusing as things go along. I'll take a sip of drink. It's not Ogdala, because that's a mass of blue gas. The other one had 3 spikes in his chest. Yeah, I'm not sure. Clayman's making fun of me for talking so much. Let me make a save. Okay, next. And there's more. You thought we were done? We're not even close. Okay, this character is called Numeron. Quarter decided to make a being of greater substance than any of his previous creations. Numeron looks like a pile of cubes. He was obsessed with being sensible and correct in everything, following the rules to the letter. Numbers, I guess. So smart. Numeron rarely did anything on his own without asking Quarter for his explicit directions. Numeron loved his crown and wore it with much pride, perhaps a little too much pride. He made 300 duplicates of himself, whom he would boss around all day, every day. Okay. These are some of their genealogies. The firstborn of Numeron was Narberus, a clone of Numeron. The firstborn of Narberus was Thopo-Bean, the Simular, then Libda, Mazbim, Mishmash, Hamda, Bim, Dad, Emat, Juder, Big Ephish, Shiphan, and Hamdek. These were the sons of Nabris. And the sons of Thopo-Bean were Narmiz, Jock, Gok, Wim, Naibai, Itchi-Ich, Kashi, and Chipchapi. And the sons of Naibai were Abesh and Naded, or Naded. And the sons of Itchi-Ich were Hafi and Refe. Machenkrog, Abdiba, Inkerkrog, and Ha. All these were the sons of Thopo-Bean, the Simular. And Numeron was the father of Numeron Jr. The sons of Numeron Jr. were Limemba and Supanwapa. The sons of Limemba were Zephiel, Loiter, Shohorf, Malagasket, and Harok. These are all like great names for like, if you're wanting to go back and play World of Warcraft and make a new character, these are all great names that are probably not taken, I would say. The sons of Zalfal were Namet, Ramo, Ifez, Maytag. Maytag is a dishwasher, not a dishwasher, clothes washer and a clothes dryer brand in America anyway. Zanek, Anmit, and Kalama. The sons of Loiter were Thana, Harpinbarbin, Hamash, and Shasa. Alrighty. And the sons of Harpin were Pius, Bud, Lebopunki, Labo Punky, Noebiz, Hana, Nosh, Bigosh, Reese, and Noshid. And the sons of Bud were Ira and Mamo, and Naptol's sister was Annie Nit. The sons of Noshgosh were Alan, just Alan, Nuzbiz, Nullibiz, the Labi, Wyef, or Yif, and Mano. And the sons of Nuzibiz and Hoxokinagig and Sots, the nephew of the son of Sot and Knock, and the sons of Knock were Narm, Nob, Narti, and Nar and Rees. The sons of Rees were Nalabo and Nazazanatab. Okay. The sons of Nalabor were Nulla and Narkata Tangbaloof. Now these are the kings who resigned in the land of Heka before any king of the sons of Numeron Jr. reigned. Aleb was the son of Raleigh Tail, and the name of his city was Havtu. When Aleb died, Barbuno, the son of Hiwai of Harbazab, became king in his place. When Barbuno died, Mashhush of the land of the Namatites became king in his place. When Mabhash died, Dadaha, the son of Dadeb, who defeated Nimda in the field of Bama, became the king in his place, and the name of his city was Naham. When Daha died, Feolu and Nakersam became king in his place. When Phelu died, Owi of Thot by the river became king in his place. When Owi died, Nalabal, the son of Rabcha by the sea, became king in his place. When Nahab died, Dabaha became king in his place, and the name of his city was Iphi, and his wife's name was Dimitikan, the daughter of Padamat, the daughter of Abenzone. Then Daha died. This kind of reminds me of something that you would like see in like the game series Space Quest, but like to the extreme. Like something you could read on the stall toilet, in a bathroom in Space Quest. Now the chiefs of Heka were Chief Amity, Chief Emoliat, Chief Thetha, or the Chief Hamabaloho, Chief Hale, Chief Nonep, Chief Zanek, Chief Namenet, Chief Ramzama, Chief Lesnez, and Chief Mari. These were the chiefs of Heka. Now Numera paid little attention to the beings he had already made, rather than he focused intently on new beings to create and neglect. Numeron made Nabris' brother Arbris, who was a poor-hearted, obedient follower, in spite of the fact that Numeron ignored him. Nabris became convinced that no one could be as good as Arbris, made himself appear, and he feared that Arbris would eventually displease Quarters. So Nabris, believing that Numeron was paying no attention, destroyed Arbris by breaking off all of the many antlers that covered Arbris' back and neck. Ouch. This heinous act did, in fact, escape Numerous' notice, but Quarter himself was watching, and he smote Nabris with permanent blindness. Now the sons of Narcolan, the son of Numeron, were Limar, Ma, and Ibalik. And Ma became the father of Badamima, and Badamima became the father of Nasha, leader of the sons of Narcolan. Nosham became the father of Amlus. Amlus became the father of Noab. Noab became the father of Debo, and Debo became the father of Essay. Essay became the father of Bailey and his firstborn. Then Bada Neba the second, Amish the third, Lethan the fourth, Idar the fifth, Mazo the sixth, Hank the seventh, and their sisters were Hazu and Legiba, and the three sons of Hazua and Ashaba, Box and Lisha and Ligbaga, bore Muddy Bing Pooty. What's your name? Muddy Bing Pooty. And the father of Muddy Bing Pooty was Jethro, the Nabaristi. And Muddy Bing Pooty became the father of Banana Grunt. And Banana Grunt became the father of Nasu Kluk, leader of the sons of Nodice. Noshakluk became the father of Amwat. Amwat became the father of Goat, Plegimth, whatever. Goat became the father of Denturupture, and Denturupture became the father of Cupt. And Cupt became the father of his firstborn, then Hiwakun the second, Ta'ana the third, Biswick the fourth, Itwa the fifth, Nidu the sixth. Goink the seventh, and their sisters were Beach Noodle and Gramlit. And the three sons of Beach Noodle and Gorpup, Bango and Quitit. And Gramwes bore Azum, and the father of Azum was Othal and the obscure prince. Now the sons of Numero Benti, the son of Numeron, were Lintho and High Harry Hapsakambi, and the son of Lintho was that, and the son of that was At. And At became the father of Oprah, of course, as we all know. And Harry became the father of Mesha Kapshi, for they were craftsmen, of course. And Mesha Kapshi became the father of Nadrzubin, naturally. It makes sense that would follow. All right, guys, I'm going to stop here midway through this screen, just because this is, long. A lot of this is nonsense. It's pretty crazy they put this in a game back then. But there is, it comes together a little bit. You are getting some story out of this, but for some reason they found it necessary to push you through all of this to get to it. But we will stop here, and we will continue when we come back on this next line here. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying the game. Most of you probably aren't. But if you've skipped ahead of this, then you'll get to the real part of the game. So says Clayman. So Clayman and I both thank you, though, for watching, and I hope you are enjoying this, and I will see you in the next part. Bye.